We're here today to give you the ultimate Disneyland ride guide for 2023. We're going to tell you everything you need to know to have a great vacation, so let's get going. So how we're going to organize this video is we're going to separate all the rides into height requirements for you, starting off with the ones that everybody can ride, whether you're an 8-week-old baby, a pregnant woman, or whatever else. Anybody can ride these because there are no height requirements. Then we're going to work our way up to the e-ticket attractions, which are the bigger rides. First, let's start off with those Disneyland rides which have no height requirement. Just because a child of any age can ride all of these rides doesn't mean they're right for each person. For each ride, I'll list an intensity level and explain why you may consider skipping this attraction. First up, in Adventureland, you have Jungle Cruise. This is a tame boat ride with a few jump scares like distant water explosions or spinning piranhas, but it's safe for all ages.
Wonderful ape, wonder of the world, the backside of water! Woohoo!
Next in Frontierland, we have the Mark Twain Riverboat. Another boat ride, but this one is very slow and smooth and is completely educational in nature. In New Orleans Square, you'll find 3 Disneyland rides for all ages. First is Pirates of the Caribbean. Despite having no height requirement, this ride does have 2 drops. I often get asked if it's pregnancy safe, and it is. The drops are short and not intense at all. The Disneyland Railroad has 4 different stops around the park, and between each of them are different scenes that you'll want to check out. I recommend riding for a full loop, getting off where you got on for the fullest experience. Haunted Mansion is a slow-moving dark ride, but it does feature scarier elements than most rides. However, my kids have never had an issue with these at any age. You'll want to keep in mind that certain Disneyland rides have themed overlays. Behind me is Haunted Mansion Holiday, which is a Halloween and Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion. Other rides that get overlays throughout the park are It's a Small World, gets a Christmas overlay. Space Mountain has gotten 2 overlays in the past, Ghost Galaxy, which is a Halloween version, and Hyperspace Mountain, which is a Star Wars version, as well as Jungle Cruise has become the Jingle Cruise. But Jingle Cruise has moved to Walt Disney World and is no longer at Disneyland. Doesn't mean it won't ever come back, but it's not here currently. Over in Critter Country, be sure to check out Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes. This one requires some manual labor on your part, so I've upped the intensity. Kids don't have to row, however, and children who can't swim will need a life jacket. Then we have the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This slow-moving dark ride features a segment where the ride vehicle goes up and down and has a psychedelic dream room. Over in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, there are no rides without a height requirement. We'll talk more about those rides later. Fantasyland is where you're going to find most of the Disneyland rides that anyone can ride. The first is Casey Jr. Circus Train. The seating is cramped for adults, but it's an otherwise tame train ride. Pinocchio's Daring Journey is the first ride that I'd caution you to skip if you have younger children. Its darker themes and hairpin turns frightened our youngest when he was a toddler. Next is Snow White's Enchanted Wish. A recent remodel in 2021 updated this slow-moving dark ride with more advanced animatronics and effects. It has some scary moments, but nothing too frightening. Peter Pan's Flight, easily the most popular ride in Fantasyland, is a dark ride that features a flying ship. It's very dark throughout, but is otherwise a tame experience. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is potentially another dark ride you should consider skipping for all the same reasons as Pinocchio's. Some tight turns, flashing lights, and scary moments increase the intensity level on this one. King Arthur Carousel is a standard carousel, but since it spins, it's not for everyone. Dumbo the Flying Elephant was a beloved ride by my children when they were younger, but once again, it spins and flies high into the air and might not be suitable for everyone. Storybook Land Canal Boats is a very gentle boat ride that takes you through miniature models of your favorite storybook tales and is an enjoyable experience for all. Our next attraction, Mad Tea Party, is the only Disneyland ride with no height requirement that I've given an intensity level of 4. Not only do the cups move around the area, they rotate in groups and can be spun individually, allowing for 3 different spinning movements. This ride is nausea-inducing. Ride at your own risk. I certainly am not getting on it anytime soon. Now is a great time to tell you if you are enjoying this video and finding it helpful to hit the like and subscribe button. I post regular videos of Southern California theme parks like Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, SeaWorld San Diego, Legoland, and Universal Studios. So if those are the types of content that you would like to see, I hope we'll see you around. Right next to Mad Tea Party is Alice in Wonderland. This too has scary moments and quick turns, but they're more whimsical in nature compared to Mr. Toad and Pinocchio. Finally, It's a Small World is the classic boat attraction beloved by all children, but hated by parents for its repetitive yet catchy music. It's my 5-year-old's favorite Disneyland ride. Moving on to Toontown, Disneyland welcomed Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway on January 27th, 2023. As of the time of this filming, the only way to enjoy this attraction is through virtual queue or purchasing an individual lightning lane. Virtual queues are required through the Disneyland app at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. Space is limited and you are not guaranteed a boarding group. This ride is trackless and some jerky moments, particularly in the dance scene, increase the intensity level for this attraction. Next to Mickey and Minnie's is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. This is a dark ride with some more adult themes modeled after the Roger Rabbit character. It also features a ride vehicle that spins. You can force it to not spin if you don't want it to, but some movement is inevitable. In Tomorrowland, we have Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. It underwent a huge refurbishment and reopened in July of 2022 with an all-new experience. While Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage does not have a height requirement, I would like to issue this warning for those people who do not do tight spaces very well. You are getting inside that submarine, you're down in there, and at certain parts of the ride it goes completely dark where you cannot see a thing. I'm not prone to anxiety, but even I kind of felt a little tense in those parts when it is so dark you can feel the darkness. Next to Finding Nemo is the Disneyland Monorail. This one has 2 stops. One in the park in Tomorrowland, and another in downtown Disney. This ride moves a little faster than the railroad and is up high in the air, which may give some riders pause. It'll take you through both parks and give you a fun overview of Disneyland. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters is a fun interactive game that allows you to shoot targets and accumulate a score fighting the evil Emperor Zurg. It's slower moving than most dark rides, but because of the loud clashing noises, it may be overstimulating for some, so I give this one an intensity level of 2. And finally, we have Astro Orbiter, which is another Dumbo-style attraction, but it flies a little faster and runs at steeper angles, making the experience a little less comfortable. Despite that, it has no height requirement and is still safe for all riders. Moving on to the Disneyland rides with height requirements, the first height requirement is 32 inches, and the only ride at this level is Autopia in Tomorrowland. Because children often want to drive, expect a jerky and rough riding experience. And if an adult steers, this can be avoided, but it's still a bumpy attraction. Combined with the gas fumes, I've assigned this ride an intensity level of 4. Something that you'll want to keep in mind when riding those bigger rides, especially if you have families with younger children, is that they do have rider swap available. So if you have people in your party that cannot ride, they're not tall enough for those e-ticket attractions, one person would wait out with the person who can't ride, and you would scan your ticket at the front of the line, and they will give you essentially a fast pass to go through the line quickly so that you don't have to wait in the standby again a second time. So rider swap is a great feature to use for families with younger children. With a height requirement of 35 inches, when Toontown reopens on March 8th, 2023, you'll once again be able to enjoy Gadget's Go Coaster. This is the tamest roller coaster in both Disneyland parks. Over in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you'll find Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run with a height requirement of 38 inches. This is a simulator ride which requires active participation to steal coaxium for Hondo Ohnaka, a smuggler on Batuu, the locale of Star Wars Land. Younger children will have difficulty reaching the levers and buttons, but it's no less of an enjoyable experience for them. To make your trip to Disneyland easier, download the Disneyland app, which will allow you to check wait times throughout the park. It'll also tell you if rides are closed. Then you can also check the Genie app, which will give you recommendations for what rides you should go to. In addition, it will show you what times lightning lanes are out to if you're considering purchasing Genie Plus. Genie Plus is available for use only through the Disneyland app. If you want more tips and advice on how to use the Genie Plus service, check out this video that I did riding nearly every single ride in both Disneyland and Disney California Adventure using Genie Plus in a single day. The first of the rides with a 40-inch height requirement is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Frontierland. My 8-year-old is a thrill junkie and has loved this roller coaster since he reached 40 inches. My 5-year-old, despite enjoying but not loving roller coasters, still hates this ride. I can't tell you why exactly. We don't know. We think it's the goat. Over in Critter Country, we have Splash Mountain. Most of this ride is fairly slow moving. It's got an engaging tail and is refreshing in the summer months thanks to its water features. However, the lack of a seatbelt or restraint of any kind, coupled with the need to sit alone, makes this ride scary for smaller children. Who am I kidding? Even adults find that final drop terrifying. One thing to keep in mind with Splash Mountain, if you have not heard the news, is that it will be closing to be replaced by Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, there is no closing date announced yet here at Disneyland. It's already closed in Walt Disney World. There is a rumor that it will be closing in May of 2023 here at Disneyland, so if you want to ride Splash Mountain, now is the time to do it here at the beginning part of the year. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Galaxy's Edge is a slow-moving dark ride. If it didn't have a trackless ride vehicle that goes up an elevator and then drops suddenly, this ride wouldn't have a height requirement. It's the tamest of the bigger attractions, but is also the most popular ride at Disneyland due to its technical advancements and engaging ride experience. Expect long lines and plan accordingly. Space Mountain over in Tomorrowland is a beloved attraction that has been at Disneyland since 1977. It's my favorite ride, and despite being a roller coaster completely in the dark, even my 5-year-old loves this attraction. If you've not been to Disneyland before, you may find it confusing that Star Tours is in Tomorrowland instead of Star Wars Land. But that's because Star Tours existed long before Galaxy's Edge. This is another simulator attraction that's a bit rougher than Smuggler's Run. It also requires 3D glasses and can be nausea-inducing for some. When your child reaches 42 inches, they'll be able to ride Matterhorn Bobsleds, which borders Tomorrowland but is officially part of Fantasyland. This is Disneyland's most intense roller coaster, primarily because it's old and has a rough riding experience. I affectionately, or rather unaffectionately I suppose, call the Matterhorn Bobsleds the backbreaker. Even if you can ride this one, I don't know that I recommend it, especially if you're prone to back issues, because this thing will hurt you. They also have single rider lines. Single rider lines are only useful once your party reaches a minimum age of 7 years old. But if you're 7, you can use a single rider line. Your party will be broken up if you use a single rider line, so you may not get to sit next to each other, but the lines are significantly shorter, and they will help you get onto rides faster if you don't mind your party splitting up. The final ride in all of Disneyland is Indiana Jones Adventure. It's a carbon copy track layout to Dinosaur over in Walt Disney World's Animal Kingdom. Strangely, despite being the same ride, Indiana Jones has a higher height requirement of 46 inches. This is a rough attraction that jostles you around constantly and warns you repeatedly in line that it's turbulent.
Your off-road journey is high speed and turbulent, going over rough and rugged terrain.
Even so, I place it below Matterhorn in intensity because this one never feels like I need a chiropractor afterwards. And that's it. Everything you need to know about riding rides at Disneyland. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I answer every single one of the questions here on the channel. And hit the like and subscribe button for more Disneyland content throughout the year. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.